If you're a guy who's over 40 and you wake up around 4 a.m. for absolutely no reason, and it's not to pee, it's not an alarm, you're just awake. And I know it's frustrating, but I really don't think it's random. And for me, it's always 4:07 a.m. almost every single night. And it's really not the waking up that's the problem. It's usually what's waiting for me once I do. And, just me personally, I fall asleep fine. It's not the issue, no worries at all. I'm out, 10:30, 11 o'clock, whatever. But then 4:07 a.m. hits, and it's like my brain just clocks in. And it's usually not in a helpful way, not like hey, Chris, here's a great idea for you. It's more like, yeah, do you remember that thing that you didn't finish? Yeah, we're gonna think about that right now. And what bothers me, it's never solutions. It's just noise. I'll lie there thinking, Chris, okay, just go back to sleep. And then it's immediately, did you follow up on that email? You should probably redo that whole presentation. Oh, wait, did I forget to email that director? And, it doesn't really stop there. It just keeps digging. I was talking to my wife, just the other day, and she could tell it was one of those days I was tired again, up again, 4:07, like normal. And she just goes, you should really do one of those sleep studies. And I'm immediately like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Because in my head, I already know how that goes. You go in there, they hook you up to all sorts of wires, maybe a probe or two. There's a camera up there in the corner just watching you. And there's some guy named Gord who just spends the whole night just staring at you while you sleep. He's taking notes like, yeah, he's still asleep. He's probably thinking about emails again. And I think that part of me is like, I don't know, just what's the point? They're going to tell me, yeah, Chris, dude, you're waking up in the middle of the night. And I'll be like, yeah, I know that. And so just not really sure how it's helpful. So doing that, it's like, okay, what is it really going to teach me? What are they going to say? Try to relax, reduce stress, go to bed on a more consistent hour. But if I'm being honest, it's not the sleep study. I think it's just me. Because if there's a reason, then I probably have to do something about it. And right now, it's easier just to say, yeah, no, I don't sleep great. And just leave it at that. And this is where it gets kind of weird because, it's not just work. It gets specific. And like something shows up from 12 years ago, whether it be a conversation, something you said, something you didn't say. And you're lying there thinking, why right now? Like, why 4:07 in the morning? And your brain doesn't stay in one lane either. It just jumps. It's work and then money and then kids and then health. And, that random lump that was on your head that you Google one time. And then you go back to work again. No real structure or order, just pure chaos at 4:07 in the morning. But here's the part I keep coming back to. I don't really think it's a sleep problem because it's never really random. It's always the exact same stuff. For me, it's a lot of work, stuff that I didn't finish, stuff that I didn't deal with, or things that I just really pushed aside during the day. I don't think that 4:07 is the problem. It's just the only time where I have nowhere left to hide. When I was younger, I used to wake up at around 5 o'clock for work. Did that for years and years. I was like an early guy, disciplined, go to the gym. I felt like I had lots of control. And then it just started creeping. It was 5 o'clock, then 4:45, and then 4:30. And now you can probably guess it's 4:07. And it's not even a round number, which somehow makes all of this way worse. And I've tried things, really, I have, like counting backwards, melatonin, wine at times. Those sleep podcasts where a guy describes a train ride for like 40 minutes. I've even tried that weird eye movement thing, like up, up, down, down, side, side. It feels like you're trying to unlock sleep like it's some kind of Nintendo cheat code. And what I've just found over doing this for many years is that none of it really works. Because I don't think the problem is really falling asleep. It's just that my brain doesn't want to let go. And this is where it shifts a bit. And I think part of it is control. Just for me, all day, I'm just managing things, solving problems, staying ahead. And then 4:07 hits, and you realize you're not actually ahead of anything. You're just keeping up with the day, and barely at that. And the worst part isn't even at 4:07. For me, it's the next day. Because normally you're just wrecked and just feeling off, you have shorter patience, less focus. And, I have to read the same email like 3 times before I register. You're there, but you're not fully there. And usually nobody notices, but you do. And I think this just might be what this stage is. It's not sleeping less. It's just carrying more, more responsibilities and unfinished things, more people depending on you, and really fewer places to put it. So where does it show up? You guessed it, 4:07 a.m. And some of what shows up, you don't say during the day. Am I doing enough? Am I actually happy? And that doesn't come up in meetings, and it doesn't come up during your family dinner. Typically, it just waits and then hits at 4:07. And that's where there's really no place else for it to go. And the weird part is some of my really best ideas also show up there too. Stuff that I really do want to do, like tomorrow's the reset, gym, run every day, egg whites for morning, breakfast, new version of Chris. And then I just don't, because 4:07 me is ambitious, but 9 o'clock me is usually pretty exhausted. So that's where I am right now. And I could go listen to my wife and go do that sleep study, get hooked up to all the different wires, grab the probes, and let Gord watch me all night while he's taking notes. Or I could just accept that maybe waking up at 4:07 is really the moment where everything I've been avoiding finally gets a turn. I don't know. I'll give it some thought. You guessed it, at 4:07 this morning. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next week.